WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, Jarom and Tanner. Let's do it. Jarom and Tanner.
All right, we are back to another edition of the WCB Podcast. It's Jarom, it's Tanner. What's up, bud?
Not much, man. You know, just trying to enjoy what we expected. God damn, man.
It was a rough weekend for Blackhawks hockey. We had some good, though, you know, with the Hossa ceremony and everything like that before the game against Pittsburgh. But it as much as we know this is what we need to be experiencing and what needs to happen, doesn't make it any easier. I've realized that the past couple of days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's like the hockey that we've been able to watch recently, which is like where they're in it, they're in every game and everything. And then there's what they had more recently, which I think is just them being completely outplayed. And you're just like, oh, shit. Okay.
So we got best of both worlds this weekend.
Yes.
You got
Exactly.
the ass kicking that you don't want to see.
Yes.
So I guess I shouldn't say best of both worlds. I guess we got to experience the high and the low of what we want to see and what we don't want to see with the ass kicking, and then
Same outcome, but
yeah.
I mean, two different ways we got there.
Exactly. So let's start really quick. Hand to God, I did not watch the Boston game. You watched some of the highlights. I don't know how far you got in before you were like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, the highlights are basically just the Hawks getting worked in their own zone and Boston getting 3 chances before the puck goes in.
Boston's good.
Boston is good. Yeah, Boston is good. Patrice Bergeron, I wish you never came back, but I mean, yeah. I wonder if this is kind of like a last dance kind of thing. Because like if Bergeron doesn't come back after this year, if they don't want to pay Pasternak like what he's worth,
That's
like what's it
the
gonna
most
boil
frustrating
down
thing. The
to?
most frustrating thing too about it, because everybody's like, "Oh, this should be the last dance," and the expectations were so low, and I think that's proven to be like the formula because expectations were so low for the Hawks at the start of the season. It was enjoyable.
Right?
No expectations. They could go out there, they can play hockey, and they were able to surprise some people for a little bit. And then Boston, I mean, a lot of people were saying this is going to, I think us included, that this potentially could have been the year that they missed the playoffs. And it's officially like the downfall of this franchise, not the downfall of the franchise, like the fall from
The fall
grace.
from grace, yeah.
And here we are. They are what, 17-2 now?
Yeah. I mean, they are getting some like monster goaltending from Linus Ullmark though too. Like he's been solid like in his career. Like last year he had a 917 and like a 245 goals against average. And this year he's just leading goalies. He has 1 loss in 15 games played.
It's insane.
Yeah, man. It's kind of crazy. He's at less than 2 goals against average right now.
Let me play a quick game with you too. Speaking of goaltending, so Swayman, their backup. Granted, he hasn't played a lot, but what number is higher, Swayman's save percentage or Boston's point percentage?
Oh, that's really funny. I have them pulled up, but I'll try not to look. His save percentage is, I mean, not great. It's probably their win percentage because of that. And his save percentage is a 89% right now.
89%. Their point percentage is 895.
Wow,
Close, but still, that kind of just shows how
that's pretty crazy.
insane what this team is doing. Is that their point percentage is higher than one of their goalies' save percentage.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost 20 games in too, so it's not like kind of fluky at this point.
I mean,
They have 2 fucking losses. It's crazy.
We're at about that quarter mark of the season, and they are still fucking winning.
Yeah, they're just rolling.
It probably would have been. We said this last episode. They probably would be 18-1 right now if it wasn't for that whole Mitchell Miller situation.
I mean, maybe.
A little bit
Kind of joke about that.
But yeah, there's not really much to say. The Hawks just got outworked, outplayed. They just showed why they are so far away from contending again. And
Yeah.
it's obvious in that game.
Oh god, yeah. The highlights from that game, it's just Boston toying with the Hawks. And I'm kind of glad I didn't get to watch it because it was on NHL Network, so I didn't even have it on ESPN Plus. But damn, knew ahead of time. I think we both knew ahead of time that it was not going to be good. In our group chat, I put a vote out of how many goals the Hawks were going to let up, and most of us chose 5+. And what do you know? It 6-1.
6-1. Let me ask this too. Watching the highlights, your opinion on the reverse retro changed at all for the Hawks?
I think it looked kind of good. I wasn't really paying attention. It did. That's why it didn't look bad. I think it was cool that they wore their reverse retros in the same game against each other.
Yeah. I think the jersey would be a lot better if it had a version of the Indian logo instead of just saying Chicago across.
I'm curious to know if they're going to, with like any kind of newer jerseys that they do, like special event kind of jerseys, if they're going to shy away from like using the Indian head logo.
It sort of feels like, I mean, because it's down to one shoulder patch on that jersey.
Yeah. And even last year when they did reverse retros, like when they were promoting it, the guy was always like turned sideways.
Yeah, you can
Like,
never see it. And if it was like a faint, like
yeah.
half out of focus shot, like it's so stupid. It really is.
Yeah.
We beat that horse dead about how dumb this whole logo situation is and name and all that kind of stuff. Which ironically enough, at the game on Sunday, because it's not national, it's Native American Heritage Month.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were doing before the game, they did their whole video presentation, like doing the honoring that the Hawks are a part of the land, like they're on the land of the different tribes from Illinois, which is awesome. If you've been to the United Center, you know how cool of a video that is and just everything going on. And then they had a Native American doing the group of Native Americans doing a song with the drum and singing all that before the game, and it was fucking awesome. It was so cool, and kind of like I kind of wish they would adapt that full time, like do before every game. It's kind of like all right, let's fucking go. Like kind of got you pumped a little bit for it. But yeah, but even before all that, I mean, you got anything else for Boston, or you want to just put that to bed?
I think we knew it was just going to be a shit show. Like they're number 1 in the league. We're not even close. So hopefully, right. I mean, we play them one more time, and that's kind of lucky.
Yeah, thank God. Eastern Conference schedule is only 2 games.
Yeah.
The next night was the night that everybody had marked down. It was probably the only time there's going to be a sellout. I don't even know if it was officially a sellout, but it looked pretty damn close to being a sellout. Marion Hossa jersey retirement ceremony was taking place. They made a whole event about it. They had Keith, Sharp, Sieves, and Jalmerson in the atrium before the game doing like I joked about it at the end of the last episode, but no, it legitimately was just them talking about what made Hossa so great and why Hossa is the best. And it was just a total Hossa fest talking the entire time. It was just hilarious. Then you get out to the arena, which was set up amazing. The giant 81s on the ice, the big circle with all the seats for everybody to come and sit down. Eddie Olczyk was in town. Hossa requested that he asked him if he would come out and MC the event, this ceremony. Sucks just listening to him talk. It sucks that he's gone. And you can kind of tell he was a little emotional about it too. Like he kind of tell that he misses and he wishes he was still there. And then Hossa gives us just amazing speech. I think it was like a 30 minutes, 45-minute long speech. I'm just thanking everybody. A couple funny moments in there talking when he's talking about him signing Detroit. The entire arena starts chanting Detroit sucks, and he just smirks and goes, Doesn't get old, does it? And then the chant got louder after that. Yeah, but just talking about everything, he thanked Q, which was interesting. I was curious how they were going to address that, and he thanked Q, talked about how he was the best coach he ever played for, and all that kind of stuff. He thanked McDonough, Stan, got a lot of boos, and that boo birds were out for that one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Host's position though, like I'm sure those guys did a lot for him.
Yeah,
that like I mean, if he didn't know about like the situations that led to like their terminations, like
exactly, yeah,
and yeah, I mean, you have the most success in your career underneath those guys. Like, I'm sure you're going to be somewhat thankful, even if like it may not have been well known at the time.
I did.
That's
right.
Maybe you should have avoided.
Yeah, it was a very quick. It wasn't like where Q he actually talked about Quinville about a little bit. It was very much of a like, oh, John McDonough, Stan Bowman, blah, 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 like just snuck the name in. He did acknowledge Dale Talon though, because Dale Talon was the one that signed him, brought him into Chicago. He acknowledged him and all that kind of stuff. The coolest part about that ceremony though for me was they brought the cup out. They had him there. They had the 6 other 3-time Stanley Cup champion from the dynasty area out there on the carpet during the ceremony, and the 7 of them took a picture around the cup, which I think it's the very first time that there is a photo of just all 7 of them together.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I was there with Noli, and literally at the same time as that picture's being taken, and we're both like, oh, that would be sick to get signed by all of them.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I now have.
I was just thinking, how cool would it be to have that photo with all their signatures?
I'm like, that's my new life mission, is to get every one of them to sign that.
Yeah.
It was just so cool, and it's just still unexpected that he was one of the first ones to get up there from that era of the players. It's just. And it opens up the Pandora's box again. Now it's like the debate starts, who gets up, who doesn't. And it's going to be interesting to a point that there's going to be a lot of players that should be up there that aren't going to be up there. And I wanted to ask you this. I was kind of thinking about this during the game or during the ceremony. What do you think like of the Hawks adopted kind of like what the Leafs do, where they do the Ring of Honor instead of retirements, where they acknowledge the player specifically for their contribution to the team? They do some sort of banner. They have like Toronto, they do banners for all these players that are in the Ring of Honor, but they don't retire their number. And that way you can acknowledge Patrick Sharp, Crawford, Hjalmarsson. Yeah, because Hjalmarsson, he's not going to get his number retired.
He should be retired. His number should be retired and take it 100%. Right off of Seth Jones's back.
Should be. He really should be. And I will fight to the death that Hjalmarsson should be up there. I think
just because of like the points production isn't the same. You don't see him on the score sheet, but like you don't see a lot of the other guys on the other teams on the score sheet because of him.
He's the defensive version of Hossa. He was a huge part of this team, and he didn't get the recognition that he deserved. Hossa didn't get a lot of recognition that he deserved because of Kane and Taves. Hjalmarsson didn't get a lot of it because of Seabrook and Keith. Like it's the exact same situation, and it's just,
you know who gets no recognition at all? Patrick Sharp, because he didn't mention him.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh man, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting because then we're like 19, 2, and 88 for sure, locked no matter what.
Yeah.
7, it's gonna get interesting because it's like, does he go up? And then if he does, like, and he's another one, he's the same situation where it's like he got more recognition than Hossa and Hjalmarsson did. But and you look at it though, he's got the same situation. He doesn't have the individual awards.
Yeah.
All he really has is the 3 cups. Like
it's really what Hossa has over him is the amount of points that he put up.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's tough. I mean, Seabrook was the assistant captain for all those years.
It's like, yeah, so and then it's okay. Then you put up Seabrook. Then it's like, okay, well, does that mean Chelios goes up? And we're like, well, Chelios had Norris trophies and all that kind of stuff, but he doesn't have Stanley Cups. Like he didn't contribute anything to the franchise, like on a team basis. And then we were talking about Sharp going up and me just being the asshole I had to be. I was like, all right, well, then Amante goes up too. And he's like, well, they're like, well, no. And I'm like, Amante had more points than Sharp. And he's like, well, Sharp's got 3 cups. And I'm like, okay, but Chelios doesn't have 3 cups. Chelios has no cups.
All right.
So I was like, just being the asshole. Then I kind of convinced myself. I'm like,
well, maybe Chelios doesn't go up then.
Well, yeah. So it's like, how do you go? It's like, it's so hard to do that because it's like, there's no true definition of who goes up in the rafters and who doesn't. And then it's like, okay, well, case by case base. And it's like, all right, well, you can make an argument for this player, because then you got to look back at the 90s. You got Larmer, you got Roenick, you got Chelios, Amante, you got all those guys too. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, they don't have Stanley Cups, but they did amazing things with the franchise. So that's why I'm like, the Ring of Honor might be the way to go. And it's like that way to acknowledge these players. Like the Hawks, the fact that the Hawks don't have a team Hall of Fame kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, with all the with the greatness that they have, but I mean, you would argue that like maybe not all of them deserve to have their numbers retired, but you'd still want to have them presented somewhere.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't make sense, and it's so unfair to the players that
because I mean honestly, like it's gonna piss me off if Hjalmarsson doesn't have like anything anywhere.
He's not going to, and that sucks.
Yeah, it's so shit.
It's fucking shitty because statistically one of the best defensive defensemen, if no the best defensive defenseman in history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be. I mean, and then I would just then argue like I don't know if Seabrook belongs being retired as well, just because of if you're gonna go off of either cups or you're gonna go off of like individual awards, like the guys that would make sense for individual awards are just Keith, Taves, and Kane. But if you're going off of cups, then you should add. You've already added Hossa, who doesn't really have any individual awards at all.
Yeah.
Like then you would have to add like Hjalmarsson, Sharp, and Seabrook because they are all also 3-time cup winners.
Yeah, that's why it's like, and I'm gonna say a very bold hot take, and I disagree with myself even with saying it, but I don't think Hossa deserved it.
Oh, I think you're fucking wrong.
I don't. Well, it's like if you're looking at based on individuals like stuff and all that stuff like that, I don't compare to Kane, Taves, and Keith. I don't think he deserved it. I'm glad. Don't get me wrong. I said, and I phrased that. I disagree with myself. I love that he's up there, but if big picture, looking at it unbiased, kind of looking at everything, theoretically, I don't think he.
Well, he's in the Hockey Hall of Fame as well,
and that's the other thing too. It's just you got to go back to the question and like define exactly what does it take to get your number retired.
Well, that's the weird thing too. So let's say, okay, so if we're looking at like Hockey Hall of Fame as being an addition to like getting your number retired, like I think it's going to be pretty clear, like Kane, Taves, and Keith.
Yes.
Seabrook, I don't think is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Sharp, I don't think will be in the Hall of Fame. Hjalmarsson, I think should belong, but they're not going to. The stats that he gets, I don't think puts like is something that they look at unless they look at like block shots. Like, oh wow, like I mean, if you look at like defensive advanced statistics and see how he was the best for years in a row, like, and you actually want to be like, hey, let's put this really good fucking defensive defenseman in the Hall of Fame. If he were to actually be able to get that, then I'd say, yeah, retire his number. Because out of the guys that don't have the individual awards, like, he's probably the greatest at what he did out of those guys.
100%.
I think it's just also because I love the shit out of Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
But it's 1,000% a bias thing with us, but it also isn't. It isn't.
I can just make the argument for it, you know.
You can back it up. We can back it up with stats. Like there are stats
much
showing how fucking amazing he was at his job.
Yeah, he's a huge piece of the entire every cup that was there. So
I mean, Hossa is gonna go down as definitely the greatest free agent signing in Blackhawks history.
yeah,
I think you can make an argument that he might be the greatest free agent signing in NHL history. And I think you might even can toss it up to all of sports. Like,
damn.
there's no
And
way.
you don't think his jersey
I
deserved to
know.
be
No,
retired?
I 100% said I disagree with myself, but I think there's an argument to make that he potentially based on like see, and it's like I don't even know. Based on there are factors that for him going up and other players that aren't going to go up, and the similarities between them. That's why I'm saying it's like it's kind of hard. Like that's hard to see when he compares more to the Chalmerson, the Seabrooks, the Sharps than he does the Keith, the Kane, the Taves. But
Yes.
you also have to take in mind that I mean it's retirement number. It's what he did to the franchise and what he brought to the franchise, and what he brought to the franchise was a lot. Like I don't think the Hawks win 3 cups if he's not here.
Right.
Taves is not the player he is if he's not here. He's not the two-way player that he is. Like it blows my mind. Like too, did you know Tampa Bay offered him the exact same contract, the same free agency?
Tampa offered Hossa?
Yeah,
Oh, no way.
the exact same contract. 12
Yeah,
years,
well,
3 whatever.
Tampa Bay didn't just go to the Western Conference Finals.
I know, and that's insane. It's like all the little things, like how different. If he would have just stuck, what if he would have stuck with Pittsburgh after losing the
Instead of
cup?
going to Detroit.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
insane. Like the little things, how everything just worked out perfectly. But yeah, it was an awesome ceremony.
Yeah, man.
Long to get there. Awesome ceremony. The giveaway was fucking sick. Like it's the entire banner stitched. Like
Oh,
it's
hell
like
yeah.
an actual.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
It's not just like printed.
like the 2010 cup one I have is just all printed. Yeah, this is actually stitched. Fortunately, I didn't get the signed one. There was only 81 of
No.
those, but whatever.
Damn.
It was cool. Yeah, cool moments throughout. They were showing. They had a bunch of former players were there. A couple that come to mind were Crawford, Bickle,
Burish?
Jamal Burish was there. Roosevelt. I think Hanzus was there.
Yeah, no, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm trying to think of like who was in like the photos that I was seeing. Yeah, Andrew Ladd was there. Did you see the one where they recreated like the Final Supper? And I think they were on like
Yeah.
on the boat on the Chicago River.
Final Supper was hilarious. Who was
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out who's that woman in there?
Is that his wife?
Oh, it didn't look like it.
I have no idea. I just assumed. I didn't even look up what his wife looked like.
Yeah, that was a funny thing too. There was when he kept talking about like his kids, his daughter, like, oh yeah, my middle daughter, she was born here, so Chicago's always got a part of me. And the camera cuts to her and she's just like like just waving, like, yeah.
That's me.
His oldest daughter wanted nothing to do with it. Like it was so funny. Like I'm like you dumb kid. You don't know what you're just experiencing right now, like how awesome your dad is.
Born into greatness.
But yeah, it was just awesome. Very happy to be there. And it was kind of too like I don't know if you watched it, right?
Yeah. Oh, I watched the game.
So during the ceremony, like that moment where you were just like fuck. Like it's like just a weird end of the era feeling because it's like you look at the other numbers that are up there and it's like those are just stories. We didn't grow up watching those guys. It's just like stories we hear about, Blackhawks growing up. And now there is a number up there of somebody that we watched.
We watched their entire Hawks career.
Yeah,
and then now their number is retired and it's like, yeah, man, I feel fucking old.
Yeah. Like, holy shit.
It's not the whole thing of like the team not being what it once was. It's watching the players like slowly retire and get their numbers retired. And you're like, oh yeah, okay.
The fact that it's just Kane and Taves are the last ones standing.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, Hjalmarsson's playing in Sweden.
Is he playing in Sweden again?
Didn't that come out that he like joined a team in Sweden?
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I thought we had talked about this, but maybe not.
I don't know. Yeah, and then Eddie Olczyk was saying something. He's like, when he was introducing Kane and Taves, and he's like, yeah, you got two more players. They got a lot more story left to write in their careers. And I'm like, yeah, you got about 2 months left to that in Chicago though. So like, but yeah, it was such an awesome emotional ceremony and all that. They do a fantastic. Say what you want about the Hawks, their video packages that they create are fucking some of the
Oh
best.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I was right. Also, by the way, Yalmerson's playing for an SHL team, the HV71.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's even cooler that he was out there then.
It is. I mean, because we're kind of like going on a tangent, but there's a quote that just says, "I'm very dedicated, and it has been fun to join the team and get to know the guys. Now I will do everything I can to help the club in my hometown, which helped me at the start of my career." So it's like the team that he started with, got drafted to the Hawks, played with the Hawks, went to Phoenix, and then retired, and then he's joining that team again. So I think that's pretty
awesome.
fucking cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Shit, do they have a cool jersey? Maybe I'm fucking looking to order one of those.
I mean, it's going to be a European jersey that's going to have advertisements all over it. But it's fucking awesome.
But yeah, on top of that, despite all that going on, there was still a hockey game to be played.
Yep.
It was Malkin. What was cool was it was Malkin's 1000th NHL game too that night, and they all come out on the ice and they were mimicking his warm up, stretching that he does on the ice. So there was 23 people on the ice, goalies included, doing all the stretch on the ice. It looked so fucking goofy, from our seats, but it was fucking hilarious when you really kind of clicked what was going on. Then the game starts, and well, Hossa iced the Hawks out as they go down really quick, less than a minute in, or no, just a little over a minute in, to that one. And second period happens, and I missed the first two goals from the Penguins because fucking United Center concession stands and bathrooms were fucking packed to shit.
I mean, stadium's packed for the host of retirement night.
Yeah, it was insane. But then Hawks strike to make it 3-1, which I don't know how it looked on TV, but
it was great.
The patience that Dickinson had to just hold, and then just toss it over to Kara for the nice little tipping goal or poking goal.
Yeah, I mean, he had a wide open net.
Oh,
he carried Casey DeSmith just all the way across the crease, made him go all out, and then he just throws it right behind him, and it goes right on Kara's tape, and he's got a wide open net.
Yeah, the fact that he had the patience, holy shit! I was like, oh my god, I would like the way they were playing that game. I was like, oh, he's just gonna throw us in front. He's just gonna throw this in front, and then he waits. Beautiful goal. Speaking of beautiful goals, towards the end of the period of that one, vintage Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves there. Taves with the puck in the corner and just throws it in front to Kane. Kane just fucking roof it, elbow diagonal into the back of the net. And then Taves wasn't sure it went in, so was fighting with, I forgot what the defenseman was, but fighting with him to get to the front of the net to poke the puck back into the net. It was the most excited I've seen Kane, I think, all season.
Yeah, I mean, he had a 10-game goal drought that he just broke, so that was good.
It was so beautiful. And you were saying something about Taves.
Oh yeah, he came into the game at 498 on an assist in the career, and then that was 499. And so it would have been really nice to have that in the same night, where it's kind of just like a weird ceremony style, like fucking everybody get in on it, hit some sort of milestone kind of thing. But yeah, no, when Kurashev scored, they brought up the fact that they thought maybe Taves got ahead of hand in it, and it's like, no, because he just threw that puck to the front of the net, and then it just went off of DeSmith's skate. And I was saying before, just to myself, because I just watched the game alone, Kurashev was ripping on the power play, and he could not touch the net. Yeah. And when I watched the game, like, I didn't watch the last two before this, but the game previous, it's like Kurashev's been shooting more, it seems like, and I'm like, he's gonna start getting more goals. And then this one, he just throws to the front of the net after he couldn't hit the net for shit, and then it just goes in. And I was like, that's kind of the luck that you get when you start throwing things at the net like nonstop.
So he had no shots on goals against Boston, but the 3 games
Well,
prior.
he probably had shots. They just weren't on goal, though.
Right. So shots on goal. He had 0 against Boston, but then he had 2 against Carolina. Oh, sorry, St. Louis, Carolina, and Anaheim. So he's consistently, and then 3 against Pittsburgh. But yeah, so also
I wonder if they have do they have shot attempts listed?
I'm just looking at the Hawks actual website here. But who made that goal made people behind us very happy because you're back to 90s Blackhawks hockey where everybody just screams shoot the puck every time the Hawks touch the puck. And it was, oh my God, so goddamn frustrating. And they're also yelling at Kane, do something. Kane's got 2 guys on him.
They're yelling, do something.
Yeah, Kane's at the blue line, 2 Penguins on him. The refs on the other side of him, so he can't go down there. And he still somehow almost got the puck to Domi, throwing it between there. And they're like, yeah, just do something, Kane. Or dump the puck when the Hawks touch the puck in their zone. Dump the puck. What are you doing between that and the person's girlfriend crying because they wouldn't put her on the Jumbotron? But she had a Hossa jersey on. She deserved to be on there. The little kids in front of me didn't deserve it. I deserve it. I have a Hossa jersey. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
That's great stuff.
Days like that is when you wish I don't hate watching the game from home. I'm like, oh my God, this is brutal.
It's always fun though.
Yeah.
You just see all the characters. I think my favorite thing pointing out at Hawks games is always just who's got the cheapest jersey on. Those are always really funny. And then the people that also have their own personalized jerseys are hilarious to me too.
There was a lot of cool Hossa ones there for sure though too. There was a bunch of Slovakian jerseys. There was
nice.
There was an Atlanta Thrashers Hossa jersey. I'm like, that's the fucking sickest one there. But then a little bit after, less than a minute after Khrushchev ties it up at 3, Crosby gets his own rebound, puts the puck in the net. First career goal at the United Center.
Yep.
Crosby, which is insane. But I mean, he's always hurt when Pittsburgh comes to town. I think that's only the first or second time
he's. They also just they would only play once a year,
right?
And it wasn't it could have been either there or here, but every other season or so you're playing one game in Chicago. I think they said he's got 8 games played at the UC. So,
it is 8 games. Okay,
it was something weird like that. Which I mean, it's not surprising because the Hawks usually, besides this season, in the past, they've always played really well against Pittsburgh. It was always a really cool matchup. So it's not super surprising.
Yeah.
But I mean, you would expect after how many years? 16 years, however many years Crosby's been in the league, he would have probably had 1 goal at the United Center.
Yeah. Was there any? I want to see if you kind of noticed the same thing I noticed on this goal. Was there anything you noticed about that goal from the Hawks' offensive perspective?
I mean, it was a block shot that he got his own rebound off the block shot it, and then got his own rebound and scored.
Yeah. It
was just kind of a broken play that just kept finding Crosby basically. Which what more can you do if you block the shot and then also make a save and it still just keeps going right back to him?
Well, what you could do is what Caleb Jones didn't do was contest him a little bit.
Gotta respect Crosby.
So Crosby shoots, he starts coming in, and Caleb Jones just turns off and goes the other way. Crosby's going to the net. Caleb Jones turns off and starts going towards the boards. Didn't even attempt to contest Crosby at all. There was I don't understand. You see a guy come in and you watch him take the shot. You see him coming at you. Why aren't you putting up a little bit more of a fight? Making it a little bit more difficult for him to get to the net.
I don't know. Caleb Jones is a minus 8 in his last 3 games.
He is so bad, and it's exactly what we need. But he is still so bad.
It's I don't want to watch that.
I know, it's God. It's fuck. Figure it out. Be bad, but make it look like you're trying at least. Jesus.
You know what I did I was enjoying watching Mitchell play. Even though he was a -2 on the game, I thought he showed a lot of confidence with the puck. That was pretty pretty good to see him, and also like showing a lot of patience at the blue line, like not rushing stuff. So hopefully that turns out into like some more like production out of him.
He gained some confidence from Coach Richardson because he took Caleb Jones actually off the ice with 30 seconds left in the game, and put Mitchell out there. So I mean, he was doing something right.
Yeah, I mean he's a -4 in 2 games, but one game is against Boston, and then the last game against Pittsburgh. I think I don't know. I didn't really notice that he was out on the ice when Pittsburgh had scored.
Who was he playing with too?
I think he was playing with Caleb Jones. I don't know though. He might have been playing with Tenori. I'm looking at like time on ice. He's just got the lowest, and Tenori's like second lowest.
I think it was Caleb. Was it Caleb and McCabe?
I don't even remember.
But
well, Jake McCabe and Jack Johnson were both +1. Murphy
Jack
was
Johnson's
even.
secretly sneaky, becoming a great pickup.
Jack Johnson is almost again leading the team in fucking minutes on the defensive end, at least, because I think Kaner leads the team when Seth Jones is out. But damn, I mean, Soderblom doesn't have the stats to back up like how well he played still. Like he was kind of left out to dry on like almost like all those goals.
This was definitely another the Ducks game all over again, where he did everything in his power to let this team get back into it.
Oh yeah.
Like he was getting no support and he was still making big saves. And
I think this is also only the second game of the season that the Hawks actually outshot the other team. I don't think. I think they've been outshot the whole time. Oh, also, since you were at the game, they started doing 5 forwards on the power play.
Yeah.
How did that look?
Not bad. I liked it. I think they're still got to kind of figure out the right combination of guys to be out there.
Yeah. Like who's going to actually be the quarterback of the power play?
Exactly, because it feels like they were trying to set it up through Kane at the point, but all Kane wants to do is get to the sideboard.
Right. And it's weird because they like recently too, before they went 5 forwards on the power play, they had also moved Kane to the other side on like the left wing side to set up like a one-timer for Domi for a while too on the right. And it was just like, I don't know, kind of weird.
Don't mess with Kane. It's Kane's power play. You got Ovi's office on the power play, or in the zone in general, and then you got Kane's office, which is the sideboard, the right sideboard. Open him.
So it's it's weird. I don't know. I would almost rather have Kaner like down at the goal line.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Because then he has everyone in a shooting position in front of him where he can either, if he has a lane to the defenseman, that's a one-timer chance. He can throw it back to the boards and have maybe Domi on that side where that can also be a shot right away. You get Radish right in front, and then you have like Taves on the other side. And if you go cross crease to Taves, boom, easy. Like, I don't know. Kaner hasn't usually ever been the shooter on the power play. Like having him down below like isn't a terrible idea if you're going to be moving things around.
He's arguably one of the best passers in the game. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah, you got to get through him. But yeah, no, I like the idea. I like the aggressiveness on it. The only thing that though, then it's like you're stacking that first unit, and then the second unit really struggles.
Well, yeah, I think you're kind of hoping that it gets done.
Right.
You score on the first unit.
You can't get it. Yeah, you can't get it.
The second unit has like Kyra on it, and he's like sitting in front of the net, and it's like, all right, well, who do we have left?
Anthony,
Athanasiou,
Kara,
Caleb
Jones at the point.
Lafferty. I don't even know who else is out there.
Lafferty was out there, or Dickinson. I think Entwistle. Let's see.
Yeah, maybe Entwistle was out there too. Entwistle's like, I don't know.
So
I feel like he doesn't really do much.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with him a little bit. I kind of want to see someone else fill in for a little bit, like get Reese Johnson in his role maybe a little bit more. But Reese Johnson,
love Reese Johnson. I fucking love Reese Johnson.
It's gonna be very easy decision to make when Tyler Johnson's back. Like Entwistle's done. Like he is going.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure they probably do someone else instead.
You think they're gonna stick with him?
Yeah, because he hasn't really sat out on any games this year. They've kind of rotated in like Reese Johnson, Colin Blackwell. They even had Jason Dickinson like sit out.
Dickinson was out because he was sick.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Huh.
A non-COVID
Anyway.
illness is what they listed it as.
Yeah, I think they'll probably like do one of like the fourth line guys instead.
I'm just not impressed with Whistle right now.
Yeah, I mean he's got like 2 assists on the year. Even other guys on the fourth line have more points than that.
Because Reese Johnson got 10 penalty minutes
in that one game.
Yeah.
He got tossed. He got tossed at the end with
yeah,
with the one who the fuck was it? I can't remember.
Teddy Bluegree.
Oh, Teddy Blueger. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. That was what was that? Who was it that the Chris Letang slash?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, who was that?
No, it was Blueger.
Oh, Letang got a penalty.
Yeah. And then there was the Blueger after the whistle, like fucking.
That made no sense too. That made no sense. It was so I don't know what they were saying on TV, but they called the penalty, and there was still like 3 seconds left in the period, and then all of a sudden the ref just calls it. Like, what is going on? Like,
I once they scored the empty netter, I turned it off.
no, this was at the end of the second.
Oh.
Yeah, they just sent he just sent everybody to the locker.
Oh no, it was time on TV. The time had clicked down all the way, and I was like, "How is that not a penalty shot?"
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. I'm like, how is that not a penalty shot? But then, yeah, they're on the board at the UC. There was still like 2.9 seconds left. So we're like, what is going on right now? They just sent everybody off.
Yeah, now on TV, the time was completely done.
Interesting, but yeah. So this was the kind of game that you want to see from this team. Like,
what we kind of got used to, where like even if they go down, they fight their way back.
Exactly, they're in it. They got no points, so they fell down the standings. Perfect. That's exactly what you want. Competitive hockey. No more Boston. Yeah, let's see real quick. All right, let's do. It's gonna be really tough. 3 stars for
oh fuck. Marion Hossa, number 1 star.
I was gonna say that guy. I'm glad you said it too, so I'm not as corny as I thought I was. But yeah, 1st star, Hossa.
Kaner breaking his goalless drought, and then I mean I'll just say that Taves probably like unless you want to throw somebody else out there.
I was gonna say Jalmerson for just being there because seeing Jalmerson is just amazing.
Just being a beauty.
Yeah, Taves.
Yeah, because Taves scored against Boston, didn't he? And then he got the assist to Kaner. He's 1 assist away from 500. But I mean, not much. There's not much to go off of here in these 2 games.
Yeah, so I like that. Old time sake, Hossa, Kaner, Taves, 3 stars of the game.
Yeah, there you go.
Looking ahead this upcoming week, we have 3 games coming up starting tonight against Dallas, who is currently leading the Central Division at 11-5-3. They're feeling it. Dallas is good. They're thriving off of their 2017 draft class, which was pointed out to us today in the group.
Yeah. Jesus. I hope one of our more recent drafts is going to be like that, because 2017 for them was 2 first-round picks and their first second-round pick, Mira Heiskanen, Jake Ottinger, and Jason Robertson. Just are you fucking kidding me? Like, could you have drilled that fucking draft any harder?
Yeah, Jesus.
And the craziest thing is their best player is probably that second-round pick in Jason Robertson. Like,
yeah, right.
But
yeah.
I mean, currently, because Ottinger he could be fucking sneaky, real fucking good.
Oh yeah,
throughout his career then. But I mean, fuck, dude, goddamn. That's all I got.
Draft talk.
That's all I got. Like, I mean, we're primed to have something similar, because if we get a top 3 pick, we can get somebody that can change
this past draft class could potentially really do it. You know, you had 3 picks in the first
round. I mean, in this upcoming draft, we have probably 2 first-round picks, because I don't think Tampa Bay is going to be a top 10 So we'll have like a mid or probably a late first and then an early second with our own second rounder. I mean, we could be just hopefully let's just do the 2017 Dallas thing. And the cool thing about their draft for that 2017 draft is the fact that it's like a defenseman, a goalie, and a forward to like build each part of your team off of.
You have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds the next 2 seasons.
Let's fucking go.
2, 2, and 2. And it's next season. Fuck. Say we got Vancouver's second round, but maybe they'll figure it out by next year.
I told my wife that like whenever we're watching the Hawks games, I was like, you got to start saying "let's go" more. And so when Kurashev scored to tie it, I was like, yeah. And she goes, let's go. And I was like, yeah.
I don't know what I'm more excited for right now, the goal or that. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
All right. Then following Wednesday's game, they have a matinee Black Friday against Montreal. Everything is lined up for a Kirby Doc revenge game.
Yeah.
That team is, I mean, I know I kind of marked them down last week. We were talking that like as the win, one of the wins the end of November. I don't know though. I mean, they're not bad. They're currently 9-8-1. That line with Kirby, Suzuki, and Caulfield is just amazing. Like they are so fucking good.
Fucking Kirby's got 16 points in 18 games. That's good. That's good for him. That's good. That's good stuff.
Who talked about this before? He's doing this all as a fucking winger too.
Yeah.
I don't know what podcast maybe talked about moving him to the wing and seeing how it would be a lot better for his career.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Never heard of it. Just to go off of that too, I don't know, on the hockey subreddit, at least once a week, there's an update of like, hey, all these guys, Doc, DeBrincat, Strome, Kubalik, like all would be leading the Hawks in points if they were still on the team. It's like, no, they wouldn't. They would not be leading this team in points. That's not, and also that's not what we wanted this year.
Yeah. Is the DeBrincat picking it up a bit?
No.
No? Because I know he was off to really.
Ottawa also is doing shit. So like, but I think he would still be like leading the team in points, if anything. Let's see. He has 14 points. Kaner's got 14 points, so they would be tied. I mean,
hot take. DeBrincat's a Red Wing by the end of the season.
We'll see. But I mean, yeah, like I don't know how many points Strome has either. But yeah, these guys are all doing well, but it's also because they're in a different situation now. Like, I don't know if you could say they'd be having the same kind of success if they were still on the Hawks. I'm sure they would because Richardson has been amazing, but yeah, Strome has 15 points. That's cool. What's Kubalik got? But I mean, it's so funny and like frustrating to see because everybody's like, how could the Hawks just give these guys away? It's like, well, the Hawks didn't win when we had them. So I don't know what to tell you. Damn, Kubalik's got fucking 21 points.
Yeah. He was the one too. Like I knew it. He was just the second he was able to like get the yips taken care of.
Yeah.
He's going to go off. Like,
yeah. I mean, and the other thing,
so in his own head.
The other thing too was like, no one also wanted Strome or Kubalik. Like we tried to trade them.
Yeah.
No one wanted them. So like, I don't like, how can we just give them away for nothing? Nobody wanted them either. Like,
yeah.
Kubalik signed for less than his qualifying offer because nobody wanted to match that when they had him for like tried to re-sign him. So like, what the fuck? Like, no one else saw the worth that they had as like what we had him at. So like they got him for cheaper because they didn't have that worth, and now they're playing better. So whatever.
And are you guys new here? Everybody knows that once you leave Chicago, when they're rebuilding, when they're not good, they always do better.
Yeah.
Every single player in the 90s did it. The second they left Chicago, their careers took off. That's how it goes.
So what's Hagel up to? I still love Hagel. I miss him.
That's a good question. I haven't heard.
He's got 13 points. Not too shabby.
Is he still playing? Probably like I wonder if he's still playing like third.
I think he's playing top two lines because he was kind of like the replacement for Andre Palat. But I don't really know.
Tampa's struggling though too.
Struggling as in like not in first by a mile because they're still playing pretty damn well. 11-7-1. Okay, wait. So I completely interrupted this, but yeah, they're playing Montreal. Went off on a tangent again. Classic.
That's fine. And then the last team to wrap up the holiday weekend, Winnipeg Jets in town. They are 11-5-1. Hopefully the Hawks can do a little bit better than 4-0 than they did the first time around. But if not, hey, it's fine. Let's get us closer. Get us closer to Bedard.
Bringing up more about Hagel, because I just looked at the time on ice for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Their forwards that are leading in time on ice are Kucherov, Point, Stamkos, and then Hagel. So yeah, he's playing like top two lines.
Good for him.
Yeah, I fucking love him. He's so good. He's just like the player that like doesn't like no everybody knows like Stamkos is like insanely good shooter. Kucherov's just so skilled. Hagel's just like that guy tries hard as fuck and like it turns out well for him.
And I'm glad that we kind of got a Hagel back for him. Like I'm starting to really like Radish the same way like Hagel. Like hopefully he can really get consistent. It's gonna be really interesting when Taves gets dealt because he's been really feeding off of Taves, I feel like a lot.
Yeah, I think that Radish is not somebody that's gonna be here in the long term, but I think this is where he'll get like the most ice time to grow and then end up becoming a good trade piece at some point in the near like next 3 years or so. He's only got like 2 years, so 1 year after this year. And that's still his ELC. Yeah. I think it's his ELC.
Yeah, he's at least got arbitration rights or restricted free agent.
Oh, it's his second deal. Yeah, because he didn't make the fucking show because Tampa was stacked.
Yeah. So, last really note I have on the Hawks.
There's also the third game. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, Winnipeg.
We stopped at Montreal. Oh yeah, okay.
Winnipeg. Just do better than nothing, but don't feel like you have to get a point against them. Just do better.
Yeah. I mean, they're just playing solid as a team. They're 11-5-1. That's crazy. I didn't think that they were doing as well.
Yeah, I think so either. But
Connor Hellebuyck's having himself a good season. I feel like he's an every other season kind of goalie. Is that a thing?
No, I feel like he's always good. It's the team that's bad. He's like the opposite of Hart, where Hart's good every other year when the team's good every other year, and Hellebuyck is just always good. I feel like no matter what, Hellebuyck's in the conversation for like Vezina and all that.
Maybe.
Wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, because like going back to like 2017-18, he had a 9.24 save percentage, and then next year he had a 9.13, and then the year after that a 9.22, and then down to a 9.16. Then he went down to a 9.10, and now he's up at 9.35. So he's consistently above like league average, but like I feel like when he's not like top of the league is when I'm like, oh, he's probably having a down year, but it's not. He's having a league average year, which is still really fucking good. So, okay, yeah, that's right. Connor Hellebuyck is fucking good.
He's still fucking phenomenal, and
yeah,
that's another guy. It sucks that Winnipeg. I mean, good for Winnipeg for doing good right now, but no identity. It's kind of like John Gibson, fucking great goalie, just stuck in a fucking shitty situation.
Yeah.
All right. The last note I have for Blackhawks, for Hawks Talk, Seth Jones has been practicing in a first full practice. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. Coach Richardson said that they're gonna see how he feels in the morning skate on Wednesday before the Dallas game. But right now he feels that he'll be in the lineup on Wednesday, but that could change just based on how he's feeling. So Seth Jones coming back.
Possibly Wednesday.
Good or bad, I don't know. Take it for what you will. Depends on what your opinion of the guy is, but
I wonder if they change the power play up and put him back in there.
I think so.
Yeah, because I don't think the power play saw very much success with the 5 forward. So
I think they're just trying to like figure something out to try to be better without Seth Jones out there because he's
I think so too.
a good quarterback for that first unit.
Oh yeah,
But you got anything else for
fun.
hot talk?
No.
All right, so I got a little bit of hot talk NHL talk merger, and
Okay.
I don't know if it's
Segue.
right. Let's see. Toronto Maple Leafs, Morgan
Yep.
Riley,
Yep.
placed on the IR with a knee injury.
Yep.
Toronto is now down their top 3 defensemen.
Yes.
So now there's been talks about potentially EK65 finding a way to try to make his way to Toronto.
What? No, how the fuck would that work?
So one of the theories that I saw put out there
Okay.
is that the Hawks would get in on this trade action
Okay.
and retain some of EK's salary. I don't know if I want to do that.
I would get an Eric Carlson jersey if we just have retained salary.
So the main
I
thing you got to look at there is how much are the Hawks retaining,
and what is Toronto giving up?
because you got to think about this is that it's 4 years of retained salary.
Yeah.
Eric Carlson, and granted the cap is supposedly going up decent amount, and we've talked about retaining salary. Hawks take on contracts or help retain salary for assets, but now you're talking about a 4-year commitment.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about a 3 to 5 year rebuild. So you're going to have dead Eric Carlson cap potentially when it's time for this team to start spending money.
Right. But here's the other thing too. Like, in order for Toronto to get him at like a cheap kind of deal, you're looking at like 50% retained in San Jose and 50% retained in Chicago. So San Jose taking on like 6.25, and then Chicago taking on like 3.125. And then you have a 3.125 Carlson in Toronto. That's gonna be like your at least next 3 first round picks.
Yeah.
Because like I would assume San Jose would get like their 2023 first rounder. If the Hawks are going to be taking on at least a little over 3 million for the next 4 years after this year, I mean, I guess maybe they would do it for like a second. But then San Jose also gets like another first, I would say, because like it's Eric Carlson is having a monster season.
Yeah.
And I mean, getting him at 3.125 would cost a lot. So 2 firsts and a second, maybe. And the Hawks get the second, 2 firsts going to San Jose.
Totally forgot that Cap Friendly has the virtual trade.
Oh, the armchair GM stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just curious at 50% there.
Yeah, tell me how it works. Are you even able to do like 3-team trades in there?
Yeah. All right, keep talking, Tanner.
I'm just looking at like man. I don't think that would work at all. Like Toronto has zero. Like what happens when like the other defensemen come back? Because Jake Muzzin's the only one that's out indefinitely. TJ Brody is out 2 weeks, which that's back from the 14th. So he's got like another week still. And Morgan Riley's out 6 weeks starting today. So you're still gonna be what's Morgan Riley's hit? 7.5. Like I don't like that doesn't make sense because what do you got to give up a player too then, and who do you give up?
Yeah.
Like Justin Hole, like you give up Justin Hole probably, like get somebody that at least gets some cap off of the books. and he's not a great player. He has a modified no trade clause. Are you fucking kidding me? 10-team no trade list for Justin Holl. All he has to do is say, I don't want to go to San Jose and I don't want to go to Chicago. And then that trade's done. Oh, man. I don't know. Like, their defense as a whole right now, without those three guys, it makes $7.85 million. I think that's really fucking funny. They're just not having a great season for injuries.
So just under $3 million. If you do Sharks retain 50, yeah, Hawks retain 50. The Hawks will be responsible for like 2,875.
Oh, really?
It's less than $3 million. The Hawks are responsible for.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. It's just I don't see how that works without Toronto giving up a lot.
Toronto is gonna have to really work to make it like. There's more to it. There's got to be more to it. But then again, though, if they're making a trade like this, is that a sign that they have no confidence that two of those three defensemen are coming back anytime soon?
I mean, they're just looking at their like injury reserve. Like they're listed at the only one that's listed indefinite is Jake Muzzin. So there's not like TJ Brody, it literally just says 2 weeks and Morgan Riley 6 weeks. So I'm sure that they're expecting them back in that time frame.
I don't know.
Do you just trade?
Would it be easier for
I
them,
don't.
or would it be easier for like Chikrin?
Probably, but even then, like, how much are you? I don't know who do you have to give up more for, Chikrin or Carlson? Because Carlson's going to be salary retained. Chikrin, you might be able to get on salary retained because like he's only got a year left on his deal.
No.
Or does he have
3? So 2 years after this year.
Okay, and he's only making 4.6. So like it's not like you would need like a third team to jump in unless you want a third team to jump in and you can get Chikrin at like a little over $1 million. You get two teams though to do 50% on that. Like that would make more sense, but that would also be because just their caps situation, but that would be giving up like even more than Carlson.
Well, I would say trade for Carlson because trading Chikrin is going to make Arizona even worse. And
yeah. Yeah.
Not today.
I'm sure San Jose would appreciate maybe some prospects over picks because I don't know, like San Jose is weird to me.
They're in a full they need to do a full teardown. I think they need to be going the Hawks route where
they should, but they're not because didn't they just sign like Meyer or Hurdle or something over the offseason?
I don't know if that was Greer though.
Let's see. Tomas Hurdle. Oh, Doug Wilson.
Yeah, I think.
But Tomas Hurdle just started an 8-year contract like this season. Yeah. Signed by Doug Wilson. So yeah, they're kind of in a weird like, are they going for it? Or are they not? So Mike Greer's like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and like, if you guys want anyone.
I also still think back to the kind of what we said earlier about no expectations and things just go better. It's like Carlson's got no pressure on him.
Well, it's not only that.
Fun.
It's he's the number one guy now because they traded Burns.
Yeah.
Like he was sharing like power play time and like it was 1 and 2 on the right side, but now it's just Carlson and it's like, oh, like yeah, he's really fucking good.
So it's like, and man, I still think it's a risky trade because off of 20, however many games they play this year of good EK65 when he's had how many years of, granted he's been injured a lot, but still it's like
he's having a great year. He's looking like his old self. He's
Just,
also
yeah, it's like, are you really willing to risk it? If it was a 1 year, 2 year deal, it's a different story.
he's leading the team in goals.
Yeah,
That's fucking sick. He's gonna put up 50.
whoever
That would
trades
be
for him has got
so
to.
cool.
You got to get 3 teams involved to get that cap hit
Yeah,
as low as possible because it's just I
absolutely.
don't know if it's worth the risk to take on a big salary for 4 years.
I
Especially,
mean, if you're a team that's like looking to make that push, yeah, I
I'm
mean,
saying though, and all
and
those
you're win. Yeah,
teams,
let's say, and you're a team that has that window of like 3 to 4 years right now. Like I would pull the trigger on getting Eric Carlson.
but all those teams also need a lot of fucking help on the cap. Like that's what I'm saying though. It's like you're gonna have to get really creative and you're gonna have to really mortgage your future.
The
So
Devils,
is it really worth
the Devils.
trying to deal with the devil?
I mean, the Devils are actually kind of fine on the right side because they have Dougie Hamilton.
DK65 Devils jersey? What?
No, I don't like it. I'm trying to think of like who's in a good position. Islanders? No, I
Yeah,
don't.
Lou is
I
gonna be.
don't. I don't think Lou would do it. um. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what other teams would be like in a position to make that move for Carlson.
Ottawa.
Yeah, right. They're not even. They're fucking like dead last right now. Like,
Hey, that's all you need. EK65 will bring him back to the conference finals.
yeah, maybe.
But yeah, it's interesting. I think this trade deadline is going to get very, very interesting this year too, because I think a lot of teams are going to bank on the fact that the cap's going to go up next year. So you might see a little bit more risk being taken.
On future contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, speaking of defensemen, Cale Makar, ever heard of him?
Oh,
Fastest defenseman to 200 points.
yeah. Holy shit. That kid is so good.
Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought? I think one of my favorite things is the fact that there was that story that came out that um who was it on Philly that wanted? It was like the Philly scouts wanted like Cale Makar and Hextall. Was it Hextall? He's their GM.
Yeah.
Was like, nope. We're taking Nolan Patrick.
Anything like that comes out and you still have a GM job, you should be fired immediately. And you should never.
No, was it Fletcher? Who the fuck was the GM during that time?
Fletcher is recent.
Yeah, it's he is the general manager from 2018 or December 3rd, 2018 to present.
Yeah, so that would be Hexel.
That's fucking old. It's just so funny to me. Is that I'm just gonna look something up. But yeah, Cale Makar, man.
So while you're looking that up, a couple more milestones that hit. We already talked about Malkin's 1,000th career game. Patrice Bergeron, 1,000 career points. Again, don't
Yes,
understand
that was
his contract at
it
all.
was Hextall for sure.
Yeah. I don't understand his contract. The whole like, oh, if he plays 10 games, you get this massive bonus. I don't know. That's just a new way to manipulate the salary cap or anything like that. But I don't know. Good for him. 1,000 points. I had one thing on here, but we'll save it for another day just because it's going a little bit long here. Jump over to this. New Jersey Devils are a fucking wagon still. Holy shit. They are officially a franchise, tied the franchise record for 13 consecutive wins. They just knocked off the Edmonton Oilers the other night. I don't think they're going to lose again. And
I don't think so either.
I'm getting very terrified that they're on the Hawks schedule coming up, and then that's what's December 6th, so that's 2 weeks away.
Speaking of
Oh god.
the Devils, who has a higher percentage? The Devils' winning percentage or Mackenzie Blackwood's save percentage?
I'm guessing the Devils.
No, it's Mackenzie Blackwood. I fucking tricked you, bro. That's a good one.
Is he hurt?
But yeah, I think so. He's only played 7 games, but if you take Vanacek, man, he's playing solid enough for him. I mean, they're just fucking winning. They're just winning games.
8-2 at home, 8-1 on the road. Like, Jesus. First team, what was it? The first team to sweep.
Oh, a Western Canadian trip and an Eastern Canadian trip in the same season.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild. I didn't know that was like a thing that was kept track of.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Or somebody was like, that's really weird. They just beat all the Canadian teams. It's like, has that ever happened?
And this is
I mean, all on the road too, which is crazy.
Out of all the years to have a weird playoff where the same conference could potentially face each other in the Stanley Cup, this would be a good one. The Boston Bruins versus the New Jersey Devils for the Cup.
Oh, if it was like a COVID year.
Yeah, like the COVID year. But at least right now, it's on track to be a conference final. So at least potentially the two best teams would face each other in the conference final, which hasn't happened in fucking forever.
Yes. I don't even know when the last time it happened was.
Couldn't tell you. Since
I
this
don't
whole
know. Vegas is sneaky, just like, yeah, we're third place. They're literally 1 point behind the Devils. They're just being like, no one's talking about the Vegas Golden Knights because everybody's talking about Boston and the Devils just doing so well. And
because
they're literally the only other team above 30 points.
Vegas lost, so their win streak ended. So they're old news. Nobody cares anymore. They don't have an impressive win streak on.
Nobody cares.
But yeah, so lots to look forward to coming up here in hockey land. I got nothing else.
There's just some milestones to look forward to, like some players that could current or closest players to reach like 1,000 points, and one is like Steven Stamkos, who's only like 7 points away. But speaking of Vegas, like Phil Kessel, he's only 37 points away right now, so that could happen this season possibly. But I saw this earlier, and I forgot to mention it, but like it just goes to show like how fucking good Steven Stamkos is. He's only played 941 games. He's got 993 points. And like I think for a while it was like, oh, who would you rather have, Tavares or Stamkos? Because it was like 1 year than the next, like the free agents. And Tavares has 917 points in 969 games. It's just, damn, Stamkos is fucking so good.
It's crazy to say for Stamkos that he falls in that category of careers that could have been so much better, because his career is still fucking insane.
Yes. He's still over a point per game player, and he had injury issues for like a good portion of the last like few years.
When he gets hurt, like he gets hurt. It's not like, oh, I'm out a couple weeks. It's no, my fucking leg is completely broken, and I don't know. But yeah, that's interesting. I don't think Phil's gonna get 1,000.
Not this year.
No,
maybe next year.
I mean, he's at 7 points.
Yeah, I mean, you could turn it on. He's logged a lot of minutes, man. He's tired.
Still can't believe
over 1,000 games in a row.
I drafted him in fantasy thinking he's gonna play with Eichel and they were just gonna tear it up together.
Oh, what is he not on that line?
I'm not sure. If he is, he's not tearing up like the way I thought he was going to.
Let's see. Yeah, probably not. I don't think he is. His time on ice is much lower than everyone else. He's only getting about 12 minutes.
Man's played 1,000 consecutive games, man. Give him a blue Powerade and let him chill.
Yeah, right?
All right, episode 202. What do you want to call it?
Oh, it's something with Hossa. It's like We Heart Hossa.
You want me to do like the 3 and then the greater than, less than sign or whatever?
No, you gotta put the 8. An 8 and then 1 and then greater than, less than. Or you can, I guess you can't really do it like the way I like the shirts that they came up for him, where it was the 81 and then the 1 was the start of the H for Hossa.
I still gotta order one of those. They ran out of sizes again, like just like the Jalmerson night, they just didn't have enough of the sizes made. And I was so happy the hoodie sold out because it was $85, and I was like, I think I'm gonna do it, and then it was sold out. I was like, yes, like thank God, it was too expensive. But all right, so We Heart Hossa.
Fuck yeah, dude.
All right, episode 202. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Like the video on YouTube. Share it. Social media at WCB Podcast. Yeah. That's all I got.
All right. Love, boys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.